Hey, what's going on everybody? Dad with a Bike here, and today we're actually going to cover 3 motorcycle maintenance tips that everyone can do and should. So stick around. Hey everybody, thanks for sticking around. So before we get into this, if you have just stumbled across this, do me a favor, hit that like, subscribe, and if you like this video and you want to see more like it, hit that notify, and I will let you know next time I upload. I do upload a few times a week, so I try to get some good content out there. So yeah, hit that subscribe. So let's jump into this. We're going to cover 3 motorcycle maintenance tips, or techniques if you will, that anybody can do and should. And they're really all focused around lubricating the bike. And we're going to cover these. It's going to be maintaining your cable, so we're going to lube the cable. It's checking the engine oil, and it's also walking around the bike and using a little bit of a lubrication on some key pivot points. And we'll walk through kind of why all that's important as we do each of those steps. It's important to get comfortable with maintaining your bike. I know a lot of new motorcyclists, they get into this, they don't really know much about maintaining a motorcycle. And they end up spending a lot of money on things they don't necessarily have to. And actually a lot of times this preventive maintenance that you do on your bike yourself will save you a lot of money in the long run. Not because you're taking it into a dealership or something like that to spend and have them, do the maintenance for you. But it helps you keep ahead of things and make sure that you find things going wrong with your bike before you're stuck out in the middle of nowhere and before the problem becomes expensive. So let's jump into each one of these. Alrighty y'all, so the very first thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to lube the clutch cable. Lubing the clutch cable is very important. Number 1, it maintains the health of the clutch cable. Number 2, it keeps it nice and free and moving so it's not such a stress on your hand having it lubed. Makes it flow a little easier. And number 3, when you do it, you're inspecting the cable. So you're able to get ahead of any kind of frayed cables or anything of that nature. And it keeps you from being stranded if you catch it before you get out on the road. I have had clutch cable break on me, not on this bike, but on other bikes. And it's a pain in the neck, and I blame it all to me not doing the maintenance that I should. So we're gonna do that first, and it's really easy. We're gonna jump right into this. Alrighty y'all, these are the tools that I am going to use. I'm gonna use this big old giant honking wrench. This here is a simple little cable lube tool, and then some good old cable lube. Now this tool, the reason why we're using this tool, move some stuff around so I can get to it, is we're gonna come down here and we are going to loosen that. And really it's not so much loosening as it is breaking the cable free. So you're gonna put your wrench on there, give it a good old lift, and then you're gonna slide that cable out. I'm doing this one-handed, so it's kind of a challenge. But basically, once you push this down, this little nut right here is just gonna slide out. So I'll show you that in just a second. All right, y'all, just like that. It's nice and loose, it's over here. This is loose, and because we do this, we follow the cable all the way up to the front of the bike. Over on the clutch cable, for clutch, I get all this free play. And that free play lets me loosen this out and also lets me get to the actual cable once I do all this manipulating with one hand so that breaks loose, okay? Then what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take this little cable lube tool, and it is going to fit right on here, really just like that, and it'll slide in. So give me just a second and I'll come back and I'll show you what that looks like. Alright y'all, here we are, we're back. I'm one-handed here, so I'm showing you this one-handed. So I've got my little cable lube tool on there. I have my cable lube, and on these lube tools, the reason why I like them is they create a good seal around that clutch cable. And then you simply put the plastic, the plastic hose inside the little receptacle there, and you give it a couple of squirts. And what this is doing is it's letting it travel down the clutch cable, and it'll go all the way down to the bottom. And that's really all you need. You don't need but a couple squirts. Alrighty y'all, so it is all done. It is nice and lubed. We're gonna put all this back in just a second. But like I said, when you lube it, it's gonna come all the way down, it'll lube all the way down through your clutch cable, and it'll make sure that it stays nice and lubed in there, keeps it protected, keeps the moisture out, and maintains the life of your cable. So it's good, good to do. So let's put this all back together. And bam, all back together. Cable's nice and lubed, cleaned up some of the spittle and some of the mess, and then made sure to put the cable back in here where the clutch itself is, and she's all good. Alright y'all, so the very next thing that we're gonna go do is we're going to check the oil. Now this is pretty basic, I realize that, but there's actually some things that you need to keep in mind when you're checking the oil on any vehicle, motorcycle to included. It's, for some reason, it's common people check their oil when the engine is cold. Don't do that. So I've already heated the bike up, but what you want to do is turn the bike on, let it run for 30, 45 seconds. Doesn't need to run long, just long enough to get the oil warm so you're able to actually check it properly. So let's jump in real quick and we'll check the oil on this Indian Scott Bobber. Alrighty you guys, so we're down here. The Indian Scott Bobber has a dipstick, so we're going to be checking this via the dipstick. Some motorcycles will have an oil view window that lets you look in and see the level of the oil. That's actually kind of nice. I had that on my FJ09. Wish they did it with the bobbers, but they don't, so we get a good old dipstick. So you'll undo it, pull it out, and then you will simply check the levels. So on the dipstick, you'll notice there's two lines. One says add oil, the other says full. So if it's anywhere near the add or below the add, of course, add some oil. And do not overfill. Overfilling a motorcycle with oil is very bad for it. So avoid that at all costs. Now once you've verified it, you're gonna put it back. Close up the dipstick nice and tight. All done. Now when I'm checking the oil, I'm not just looking at oil levels, I'm actually looking at the condition of the oil also. So in some cases I may want to change it before the mileage time comes up. Never know. Usually I don't. Usually I'm pretty good about just changing it when it needs to be changed, but every once in a while, you know, I'll think it's too dirty and I'll go ahead and change it. And I'm also looking for any kind of metal flakes or anything that indicates there's some damage happening to the internals of the engine. So always look for all that stuff when you're checking your oil. Alrighty y'all, the third and final thing we're gonna do is we're gonna actually walk around the bike and just lube in a couple different places. Now I use this, somebody's texting me. I use this, it's just plain straight white lithium grease. You know, and it's great. It's good for metal lubrication. It's better than using something like WD-40 because you don't want to attract moisture. You want to use something that kind of keeps moisture away. It does leave a white residue behind, so if you overspray, just wipe it off. It's no problem. So I'm going to walk around and I'll show you what I'm doing when I'm spraying all these little pivot points with this. All right, y'all. So we're going to start here first, and where I'm going to spray is I'm going to actually spray the foot controls itself, and I'm going to spray inside here where the floorboards are, and then I'm going to spray, let's see if we can get in there so you can see it, these little pivot joints, these ball joints for the shift rod, both there and there. And then I'm going to spray the kickstand, and then I'm going to work the kickstand. And then that is all we're going to do on this side. So I'm going to show you what I do just on the first one. So we'll use this as an example. All I'm going to do is get in here and give it just a couple of squirts. Not much. Work it back and forth a little bit. And do the same thing. So then I'll spray here. Okay, and then I'm gonna work it back and forth a little bit. And I'm gonna spray the ball joints. We'll do this one too. Do the kickstand while we're here. And then I'll just work these. Get it in there nice. There we go. And that's it on this side. So let's jump over to the other side. All right, we're over on the other side. Same deal. I'm going to lube the floorboards, foot controls, and that'll be that. And that's all I do on this side. So throw a little bit in here. I'll work that a bit. And like I said, when this white residue, I'm gonna come back with a cloth in a second and clean all that up. And then back here. And then I'm gonna also jump up here and we're gonna put a couple of squirts in here for the brake lever. Work that back and forth a bit. And then same thing for the clutch. Work that a little bit stiff. So work that a bit. And that's it. All right, y'all, so the bike is all lubed. So one of the things that I'm doing, and I really didn't mention this when I talked about lubing the different pivot points in the bike, is I'm actually looking at some other things when I'm down here. You know, I've already done this maintenance. I did it a couple days ago after I washed my bike, which is kind of what I do. Every time I wash my bike, you know, or I go through rain, I'll go ahead and lube the cable and I'll hit some of the pivot points just so it keeps it nice and lubed and corrosion free. But I'm kind of a freak about maintaining my bike. But while I'm down here and I'm looking at these different lube points, I'm gonna show you. I'll come down here and I'm also looking at things like, you know, all the different hoses. I'm looking at cables. I'm making sure I don't have any problems with any of my hoses. You know, take a look at the health of my belt. Make sure that it is nice and healthy. You know, I give really just the bike a good all around look. And that's really just to make sure that everything is in good working order. So while you're lubing your bike, hitting all those pivot points, it's always a good idea just to check it and make sure that all the things are in good working order. All right, y'all. Hope you found that helpful and hope it was useful. Those 3 little items that'll save your bike, and it's maintenance that you can do really easy. Anybody can do it. New riders, I highly recommend you do this kind of maintenance on your own. Get close to your bike, learn your bike, get comfortable with maintaining your own bike. It'll save you in the long run. It's a lot cheaper, and you'll catch problems long before they actually happen. So, do me a solid if you like this, hit that subscribe, like, and if you want to see more like this, hit that notify, and we'll see you in the next video. Y'all have a good one. Stay safe, be kind. Peace.